It was a night like any other. I was in my studio, staring at the screen, tweaking the design for our latest wedding ring. As a well-known jewelry designer, I've always poured a little extra of myself into wedding rings. I believe every couple deserves a symbol as unique as their story. That's when the text from my wife came in. "Hey, honey, got a client dinner tonight. Don't wait up for me." I glanced at the clock. 9 p.m. That was the fourth time this month. Ever since her promotion to brand director, the client dinners had definitely been piling up. I typed back a quick "stay safe" and went back to work. It wasn't until the pixels on the screen started to blur that I realized it was 1 in the morning. As I was packing up to leave, I remember my wife's iPad was still in my studio. She'd come by for lunch and left it on the couch. When I got home, I figured I'd just leave it on her vanity. But as I went to set it down, a new notification lit up the screen. The sender was saved as my love. My fingers froze. That wasn't her name for me. Ever since our wedding day, I'd been hubby. The message preview was just one line. "Babe, I'm still tasting you." The rest was cut off. I stood there in the dark, feeling like I'd been nailed to the floor. After a moment that stretched into an eternity, I opened the chat, and in that instant, my entire world came crashing down. Endless streams of flirting, intimate private photos, even a few explicit videos. The sender was the biggest client our company had, Marcus Thorne, the CEO of Thorne Jewels. The same Marcus Thorne who shook my hand at every launch event, clapped me on the back, and told me I was the most gifted designer he'd ever seen. That idealist husband of yours has no idea what kind of woman you really are. Once our plan works, you can finally get rid of him for good. Babe, you're the most perfect thing I've ever had. I scrolled up, reading message after message. Every word was a knife twisting deeper into my heart. They had been going on like this for over 6 months. I could see it all, clear as day. The days I was on business trips, this man was in my home, in our bed, defiling our marriage. But what made my blood run cold was the rest of their conversation. Woven between the breathless sexting was a current of ridicule and contempt, all aimed at me. You know what's pathetic? He's always going on about artistic integrity and the craft. Has no clue how to design for the market. If it wasn't for you, he'd have been obsolete years ago. Tell me about it. I've seen the design drafts other firms buy. Any one of them is better than his stuff. You're the only one who still props him up. Don't worry, babe. Once our plan pays off, the fool will realize just how stupid he really is. I closed the iPad and placed it on the vanity. I walked into the master bathroom, turned on the faucet, and splashed cold water on my face. The man in the mirror was pale, but his eyes were unnervingly calm. I stared into those eyes for a long time, until I heard the front door click open. She was home. She brought the smell of alcohol and another man's cologne with her. "Honey, why are you still up?" She walked in, saw me in the bathroom, and purred. "It's so late. You need your rest." I dried my face and turned to her. "Just finished up. Did you have a good time?" "Don't even ask." She nuzzled into my chest playfully. "Those old execs can really drink. I barely made it out alive." Her eyelashes were damp. I couldn't tell if it was from the alcohol or something else. I leaned in, inhaling. A strange, sharp scent of cologne. Not mine. "Go take a shower," I said, stepping back. "Get some rest." She nodded and disappeared into the bathroom. The second I heard the water start, I pulled my phone from a nightstand and sent a text to a friend. "I need you to run a check on someone. Marcus Thorne of Thorne Jewels. I want everything you can find. You both think I'm an idealist. A fool. Fine. I'll keep playing the fool, right up until the day I burn your world to the ground." 2. I started watching my wife's every move. Now, every little detail was a glaring reminder of her betrayal. She started wearing a new perfume, a scent I'd never smelled before. When I asked, she said a girlfriend gave it to her. But that bottle cost over $500, and none of her friends were in that tax bracket. Her wardrobe became more and more extravagant. She'd spend nearly 2 hours getting ready every morning. For me, she never even wore makeup. And her phone? It was always locked. She even took it into the shower with her, as if she was afraid I'd try to look. These little clues pieced together a truth that left a raw, aching hole in my chest. I started following her. It didn't take long to get the pictures of her and Marcus Thorne at a high-end hotel downtown. It was a gray, rainy day. At 3 in the afternoon, she walked into the hotel lobby wearing a new Chanel suit and stilettos, holding a black umbrella. Marcus was already waiting for her. They hugged. They kissed. Then they got into the elevator together. I sat in the coffee shop across the street, the cup in my hand long since gone cold. Flashes of our life together played through my mind. We first met at an industry conference. She was a recent graduate, an intern. I was already making a name for myself. She told me she loved my design philosophy, and I was captivated by the pure, unadulterated passion in her eyes. We fell in love. We got married. We built our careers from the ground up, finally getting a foothold in the competitive world of luxury jewelry. Last year, she finally got her dream job as brand director. I designed a one-of-a-kind sapphire necklace for her to celebrate, a piece that took me 3 months to craft. When she put it on, she stood on her toes and kissed me. "Honey, you'll always be the one I love most." Now, that same necklace was around her neck as she walked into the arms of another man. I pressed a hand to my chest, trying to soothe the dull ache. I wasn't sure if it was the bitter coffee or something else entirely. My vision blurred. The surveillance continued. I needed to know just how deep the rot went. A week later, on another afternoon, I followed her to the same hotel. Only this time, I'd had a camera installed in the presidential suite ahead of their arrival. The feed streamed directly to my phone. I sat in the same cafe downstairs, my eyes glued to the screen. In a hotel bed, my wife was snuggling into Marcus's arms. "Are you sure he really doesn't know anything?" "Relax." Marcus wrapped an arm around her waist, his voice dripping with contempt. "A guy like that? An ivory tower artist? He's so lost in his own head he wouldn't notice his wife was cheating on him, let alone anything else." "You're right," she giggled. "All he cares about are his stupid rocks. He doesn't even notice when I wear a new dress." "And you've been playing him for years," Marcus said, his hand wandering down her body. "When are we finally going to be able to go public?" "Soon." Her voice turned sultry. "As soon as the plan works, we can." I shut off the phone. So it wasn't just an affair. They were actively plotting something. As a major client, Marcus's company bought tens of millions of dollars worth of jewelry from us every year. And my wife, as brand director, had access to every company's secret. I stood up and walked out of the coffee shop. A light rain had started to fall. It soaked through my suit jacket, but it couldn't extinguish the fire raging inside me. "You think I'm just a fool who plays with rocks? Fine. I'll keep playing the fool, and we'll see who the real idiot is in the end." For back home, I started setting the stage. First, I installed hidden cameras throughout the house. The living room, the study, even her makeup vanity where she spent so much of her time. I wanted a record of every lie, every moment of her betrayal. While she was asleep, I installed spyware on her phone. Every call log, every text message was now forwarded directly to me. Over the next few days, I saw more than I ever wanted to. She'd bring Marcus to our home while I was working late. They'd have sex in our bed, and she would deliberately tease him with a sapphire necklace. "This is a custom piece, you know. Can't buy it anywhere." She'd coo into the phone, "I miss you," while I was just one room away in my study, hearing every word. The thing that turned my stomach the most was when she secretly photographed my latest design sketches and sent them to Marcus. "This is his new concept. See if he can use it." So, they weren't just destroying my marriage. They were out to destroy my career, too. I forced myself to keep watching. Every frame was like a razor blade, carving me up from the inside. But I had to endure it. I was waiting for the right opportunity. An opportunity to bring them both to ruin. And soon, that opportunity arrived. The company's 20th anniversary gala was fast approaching. The centerpiece of the event was a major jewelry design competition. The winner's piece would become the brand's flagship design for the year, backed by a massive marketing budget. The judging panel was made up of the industry's top designers, and as the company's creative director, I was on it. My wife, Chloe, was in charge of planning the entire event. Yesterday, I finally uncovered their full plan. Marcus had been running an offshore counterfeit operation for years, secretly manufacturing knockoffs of my designs. He'd then sell them through various channels at a lower price, making a fortune. And Chloe was his inside woman. She was responsible for leaking my designs, even handing over some of my most exclusive, unreleased concepts. Even more audacious, they were planning to rig the anniversary competition. They would ensure a designer from one of Marcus's shell corporations won the grand prize, giving his counterfeit operation a legitimate entry into the high-end market. I stood at my floor-to-ceiling window, watching the endless stream of traffic below. Night had fallen, and the city was a galaxy of lights. But my world had already plunged into an endless, suffocating darkness. Fine. If you're planning a big surprise for me at the gala, then I should probably prepare one of my own. 6 preparations for the gala were in full swing. Chloe was working late every night. I knew she was scheming with Marcus, but I played the part of the clueless, supportive husband. I'd have dinner waiting for her when she got home. I'd put food on her plate. I'd ask if she was tired. She would lean into me, her voice sweet as poison. "Honey, you're the best. You always take such good care of me." Then, as I looked down at my plate, she'd be secretly texting Marcus under the table. "Just finished dinner, and I'm already thinking about you." I started making calls. I met with everyone from fashion bloggers to investigative reporters for the Wall Street Journal. Anyone who would be interested in this story, I gave them an off-the-record briefing. At the same time, I hired a private investigator to dig into Marcus's offshore factories. Soon, I had a complete chain of evidence. Not only did I have proof they stole my designs, but I also had extensive documentation of their counterfeiting and sales operations. Most importantly, I found the offshore bank accounts and the money trail connecting them. 10 days until the gala. I sat at my computer, drafting my revenge, refining every last detail. Sometimes Chloe would come up behind me and wrap her arms around my shoulders. "What are you so busy with, honey?" I'd instantly switch screens, turning to her with a warm smile. "Just getting things ready for the anniversary. Don't worry, you have my full support." She'd kiss me on the cheek. "I knew I could count on you." As I watched her walk away, I typed the final sentence in my plan. "This is an anniversary no one will ever forget." 2 nights before the gala, Chloe was in an unusually good mood. She insisted on cooking, making a spread of all my favorite dishes. She even took off the sapphire necklace, replacing it with a simple silver chain. "Honey," she said, pouring me a glass of red wine. "I've been so busy with work lately, I feel like I haven't had any time for you." I raised my glass, watching the deep red liquid swirl. "It's fine, I get it. The gala is a huge deal. And," she added, winking mysteriously, "I have a big surprise for you that night." "Oh yeah." I feigned excitement. "What is it?" "You'll have to wait and see," she said playfully. "But you have to promise me something. No matter what happens, you'll trust me, okay?" I nodded. "Of course. I'll always trust you." She beamed, satisfied. She could already see it. The entire jewelry world applauding her and Marcus for their brilliant coup. And me, her idiot husband, standing by her side, still cluelessly supporting her. But she had no idea. I had a gift for them, too. The night of the anniversary gala arrived. The ballroom was magnificent, dripping with crystals and awash in champagne. The entire who's who of the jewelry world was there. I stood near the back, watching Chloe on stage in a stunning evening gown, giving the opening remarks. She was wearing the sapphire necklace again. It glittered under the spotlights. Marcus Thorne was sitting in the front row, occasionally exchanging a knowing glance with her. When he saw me, he even waved enthusiastically. "Luke, tonight's all about you, my friend. Can't wait to see the results." I smiled and nodded back at everyone, just waiting for the show to begin. Finally, it was time to announce the winner of the design competition. Chloe held the envelope, milking the suspense. "And the grand prize winner is..." "Hold on a second." I stood up and walked toward the stage. Every head in the room turned to me. Chloe froze. "Honey, what's wrong?" "Nothing," I said, taking the microphone from her hand. "I just wanted to show everyone something interesting." I snapped my fingers. The massive screen behind the stage flickered to life. It showed the video of them in my bedroom, the video of them in her office, the video of them in the hotel. And then, it showed the complete evidence chain of Marcus's counterfeit operation, including flight records, shipping manifests, and offshore bank statements. "Since it's an anniversary," my voice echoed through the silent ballroom, "I thought everyone deserved a real surprise. Don't you?" The color drained from Chloe's face. The envelope slipped from her fingers and fluttered to the floor. What terrified her even more was the sight of police officers and federal agents emerging from all sides, surrounding the stage. "Mr. Marcus Thorne, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit wire fraud and trafficking in counterfeit goods. Please come with us." Marcus's face contorted in rage. Luke, you bastard, you wouldn't dare? Not only would I dare, I said with a cold smile, but I'm going to make sure the entire world knows exactly what kind of people you are. By now, the reporters I'd tipped off were swarming, their camera flashes turning the room into a strobing nightmare. The videos continued to loop on the big screen, a silent, damning testament to their depravity. Director, what is your relationship with Mr. Thorne? Can you explain how these design files were leaked? Is it true that the Thorne Jewels couture line is based on your husband's stolen designs? Chloe was trembling, tears streaming down her face, smearing her makeup. She was utterly speechless. She looked at me, her eyes filled with disbelief. You? When did you? When did I find out? I finished for her, right around the time you thought I was still dumb enough to believe you. The ballroom descended into chaos. Marcus was still struggling as the feds cuffed him. You can't do this to me. I'm the CEO of Thorne Jewels. I walked up to him, my voice low. Enjoy prison. And hey, don't drop the soap. Chloe collapsed onto the stage, her carefully constructed image shattered. She grabbed the cuff of my pants. Honey, please, let me explain. I kicked her hand away. Explain what? Explain how you betrayed me? Or explain how you were planning to ruin me? No. I really did love you. She sobbed hysterically. How pathetic. Love me? I looked down at her, my voice laced with ice. You were screaming his name in your sleep. Whispers rippled through the crowd. My God, I can't believe she's that kind of person. She always seemed so elegant. What a snake. Poor Luke. He married a viper. The story exploded. The next day, it was the front page headline of every major news outlet. Luxury brand director in corporate espionage scandal. Thorne Jewels CEO arrested in massive counterfeit ring. The billion-dollar affair that rocked the fashion world. Chloe was fired, and her name was blacklisted by every reputable brand in the industry. She hid at home, afraid to go out, bombarding me with calls and texts, begging for my forgiveness. Honey, I know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance. I can't live without you. I didn't reply to a single one. Word came that Marcus was having a breakdown in jail, begging me to drop the charges. Said he'd pay any price. I had my lawyer send back a 2-word response. No deal. This revenge was just getting started. The investigation was ongoing. The full extent of the Thorne Jewels counterfeit operation was slowly being unearthed. The total value was over $100 million, and more executives and designers were being implicated. As a key witness, Chloe had to go to the police station for questioning every day. I saw her outside the precinct one afternoon. She was a completely different person. The designer clothes and perfect makeup were gone, replaced by dark circles and a gaunt, haunted look. She saw me and rushed forward. Luke, I got in my car without a backward glance. In the rearview mirror, I saw her fall to her knees on the sidewalk, sobbing. When I got back to our empty house, I started packing up her things. Clothes, shoes, makeup. The last thing was the sapphire necklace. The police had wanted to hold it as evidence. I told them not to bother. It was a wedding gift, irrelevant to the case. I took it out to the balcony and, without a moment's hesitation, threw it down onto the stone patio below. The sapphire shattered with a faint tink, just like the last shred of affection I ever had for her. 13. Chloe's parents showed up at my door. Luke, her mother pleaded, her eyes red and swollen. Please, just forgive her this one time. She knows she was wrong. I stared at them coldly. Forgive her, so she can cheat on me again. You raised such a wonderful daughter, and now you come to me. It's too late. Her father spoke in a low, humbled voice. We'll make sure she behaves. You're both still young. You could start over. Get out. I cut him off. Don't make me say it twice. As I watched them leave, I lit a cigarette. I remembered on my wedding day how they couldn't stop calling me their wonderful son-in-law. What a joke. 14. Chloe started waiting for me outside my house every day. Rain or shine, she would just stand there, sometimes for the entire day. I always walked right past her without giving her so much as a glance. Then one evening, I came home to find her collapsed on the sidewalk. I found out at the hospital that she hadn't eaten in 3 days. Mr. Evans, the doctor said, stopping me in the hall, your wife is going to need someone to look after her. I turned and walked away. She's not my wife. Not for much longer. The next day, I dropped the divorce papers on her hospital bed. Sign them. Her hand trembled as she picked up the pen, tears blurring the ink. "Honey, don't call me that," I said, my voice flat. "You don't have a right." The moment she signed, I turned and left. Behind me, I could hear her screaming, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I didn't look back. 15. The day of the sentencing. The courtroom was packed. Marcus pleaded guilty, begging the judge for leniency, claiming it was a momentary lapse in judgment. Chloe also testified. She looked like a ghost, her voice a hoarse whisper as she spoke of her deep regret. I sat in the gallery, my face a mask of indifference, and listened to it all. In the end, Marcus was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison and a $50 million fine. Because of her cooperation, Chloe avoided criminal charges, but she was ordered to pay my company $30 million in civil damages. As they led Marcus away, he screamed at me, "Luke, you just wait. I'll get you for this." I smiled. "Great. I'll be waiting. See you in 10 years. 16. After the hearing, Chloe ran up and blocked my path. "Please, just give me one more chance." She fell to her knees, clinging to my leg. "I'll do anything. I'll pay any price." Onlookers stopped and stared, whispering among themselves. Someone recognized her. "Isn't that the brand director from the scandal? Wow, a little late to be begging for forgiveness now, isn't it?" I let her cling to me, my voice devoid of any emotion. "A price? What could you possibly have left to pay with? You already gave all of yourself to Marcus, didn't you? And now you want to come back here and play the victim?" She looked up at me, her face a mess of tears. "I can give you all my assets. Everything." I laughed, a short, bitter sound. "You know exactly where that money came from, don't you? Besides," I added, leaning down slightly, "you really think this was ever about the money?" I yanked my leg free and walked away without looking back. Her cries of "Luke, please," faded into the noise of the city traffic. 17. Back at the office, the fallout continued. The video from the gala had gone viral. The hashtag billion-dollar betrayal was trending for weeks. The public's verdict on Chloe was unanimous. She got what she deserved. A woman like that should pay. Look at her playing the victim now. Where was this remorse before she got caught? Team Luke. Glad he took those two down. Inside the company, the whispers follow me everywhere. People looked at me with a mixture of pity and awe. After all, who would have thought that the quiet, mild-mannered creative director was capable of such ruthless, devastating revenge? I locked myself in my studio, pouring all my energy into a new collection. My assistant knocked timidly on the door. "Mr. Evans, there are some reporters outside." "I'm not seeing anyone," I said without looking up. "Get rid of them." Right now, the only thing I wanted to focus on was my work. As for everything else, well, that was just getting started. 1 month later, Thorn Jewels was officially bankrupt. After the counterfeit scandal, their reputation was destroyed. They had no future in the industry. Marcus reportedly had a complete breakdown in prison and attempted suicide. The guards found him in time. As for me, I acquired the majority of their former market share. The president of the Jewelers Guild of America paid me a personal visit, offering me the position of vice president. "Luke, the way you handled this situation has earned you the respect of the entire industry." I politely declined. "Thank you, but I'd rather focus on my design work." "You're too modest." Before he could finish, my assistant knocked again. "Mr. Evans, your ex-wife. She's here again." "Have security escort her out," I said, not lifting my head, my pen gliding across the sketch pad. "But," my assistant hesitated. "She said if you won't see her, she's going to kneel on the sidewalk in front of the building." A cold smile touched my lips. "Then let her kneel." The guild president looked at me, a troubled expression on his face. He opened his mouth to say something, then seemed to think better of it. Finally, he just said, "Young man, know when to stop." I put down my pen and looked out the window. She was really down there, kneeling on the cold pavement, the wind whipping her thin coat around her. She had lost so much weight she was barely recognizable, her face ashen. Passers-by pointed and stared, but she remained as still as a statue. "Mr. Evans." My assistant started again. "Leave." I cut her off. "Both of you out." Once they were gone, I picked up my phone and opened the spyware app. I still had the archived conversation between her and Marcus. That idealist husband of mine is only good for drawing pretty pictures. Once our plan succeeds, I'll buy you anything you want. I love you. Ah, so now she kneels? Where was this devotion when you were stabbing me in the back? 20 She knelt for 3 straight days. The first day it poured rain. She stayed out in it until well after midnight. The second day, the sun was relentless. She was nearly overcome by heat stroke. The third day, a bitter wind blew through the city. Her lips were blue with cold. Every day I walked right past her. I never even looked in her direction. On the morning of the fourth day, security called my office. "Mr. Evans, your ex-wife collapsed last night. She's been taken to the hospital." "Okay," was all I said. I hung up, opened my laptop, and poured myself a cup of coffee. My assistant came in, wringing her hands. "Shouldn't you maybe go see?" "No," I said, returning to my sketch. "She's not going to die." The office was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. But my expression was calm, serene. Even once you betray me, what good is repentance? A betrayer can never be forgiven. Never. A few days later, she was finally gone. I saw her walking away from the building one last time. Her silhouette was desolate, heavy, burdened by a future she had destroyed. I sneered to myself. Pathetic. My gaze drifted toward the horizon, my thoughts already moving on. With that dead weight cut loose, it wouldn't be long before I started a new life. I had to admit, this betrayal, as devastating as it was also a gift, a baptism by fire. The future was only going to get better for me.